This is Richard Wolff from Democracy at Work with another Wolff Responds. I want to respond to all this talk again about labor shortages because I think it's phony, and I think that phoniness has to be exposed. There is no labor shortage. In other words, the employers who are complaining about a labor shortage want, by using that phrase, to imply that there's something amiss with the workers. They're not coming out to work. Well, I got news for the employer. They're not coming out to work because the jobs you offer are lousy. The conditions are poor. The wages and salaries are not enough. And we all know we've just come off of 18 months of pandemic and of economic crash. We need help. We need improvement. We need to recoup all we lost in those 18 months. But instead, you, the employers, are offering us jobs that are paying not anywhere near what we need, especially not as prices are going up when we need more. Not the same, not a little increase, but enough barely to keep up with the rising price of life in our society. But you want us to work harder than before, under poorer conditions than before, without extra money. You're going to make more profits to recoup your lost 18 months, but you want to do it at our expense. So what are we doing? Well, here's a hint. We are quitting jobs at a rate never before seen in American history. People not fired, people not losing their jobs because the business is going out of business. No. People quitting in anger and resistance against the jobs and the wages being offered. The ruling class, the employer class, wants to make up for their lost pandemic profits by squeezing that out of working people who have their own recouping from 18 months to do. This is a nasty, ugly struggle. And you can see what the employers are after when I tell you that the CEO of a $95 billion company, Starwood Capital, a real estate and hotel kind of investing fund, had a proposal the other day that the government pay people to go back to work. I kid you not. You know what that is? That's asking the government to support their profiteering by picking up a part of the wage and salary tab the employer has. Straight out subsidize the profits. Just shovel the money to those who are already the richest amongst us. And where would the government, pray tell, get the money? By taxing you and me, or maybe by cutting some social program to free up the money to give to the workers so that the employer doesn't have to. It's disgusting, and it's another reason to think about quitting. And here's why I'm sure about my analysis. There's another statistic that should be printed right alongside the quits and the shortages. It's the number of people going on strike in America. You know why it should be there? Because that's another index of how angry and bitter and resisting workers are in a way we haven't seen for many years. This summer, the Nabisco workers went out on strike. As I'm speaking to you, the workers at Kellogg's, the ones who make those mediocre cereals, they're on strike. And John Deere's workers, the company that makes tractors and so on, they're on strike. And let me give you just a smattering of who's striking these days so you get the point. School bus drivers in Maryland, the janitors at the Denver airport, the musicians in the San Antonio, Texas Symphony, and those heroic nurses at St. Vincent's Hospital in Worcester, Massachusetts. I could go on, but you get the idea. Workers are angry. Workers have had it up to here. They're quitting in record numbers. They're striking in record numbers. Those who are quitting are likely going to discover, to their sadness, that the job they're going to will have many of the same problems as the job they just left. it's a bit better idea to strike because that makes the job better for all of the folks involved without forcing you to quit and look for another job and maybe quit again. But there's a deep demand being made that the economic system put first and foremost the needs of the majority for secure, well-paying, well-conditioned job situations. That's a basic human right that our capitalist economic system is less and less capable of meeting. And that's why quitting, and that's why labor shortage, and that's why strikes are the rule of what is the labor market now. The sleeping giant of labor is waking up, and that is going to change this country in fundamental ways as we go forward. If this is the sort of video you find useful and can imagine doing good work as it is shown around the country, then let me ask you to partner with us. Help us by providing us with some of the funds we need to keep this work going. It's important. It's changing the conversation in this country, and we need that more than ever.